What's a small act of rebellion you've committed that felt incredibly satisfying? All behind me decided it would be funny to honk as soon as I was handing them money, and again when I was being handed my bag with the intention of trying to startle me and possibly make me drop. Either I didn't. But my defiance was after she handed me the bag. I just sit there in the drive-thru. Eventually he starts honking again and yelling for me to move and yelling obscenities. At which point, I flipped him off so he knew I was doing it intentionally. I sat there until the manager finally told me I had to move. Felt so good. Had a manager get exasperated and tell me from now on do exactly what I tell you. She learned very quickly she was a very poor communicator who lacked the ability to adequately articulate what she wanted. Always made certain I had 2 or 3 people around when she told me what she needed. Would chat the request to my teammates who confirmed that's what they'd heard. She was fired 3 months later. She tried getting me written up and fired, but HR kept calling in my witnesses and the write-up kept getting declined. I needed to buy Sudafed, 1 package like a normal person, not a pallet like a meth cooker, in the counter, and I had to provide my ID. And they took my information down in a book, and I had to sign it, which let me see the names, addresses and driver's license numbers of everyone before me, which means everyone after me will see my personal information. For my signature, I wrote in cursive, "I protest." That time when I was exiting a store, some people trying to do the same were looking at the automatic doors that weren't opening. I walked up and put my fingers between the doors and tried to move them apart. There was some resistance and some give. And I'm yanking 'cause I don't care. Then the doors mechanically opened. I walked through, leaving my people out like an almighty champ. Yeah. My boyfriend cheated on me. We were both closeted and too young to know real love, thus the quotation marks. So I sent his family fake death threats. Luckily I was sane enough to not go with my initial plan of putting bleach in his drink, thinking that now that was so incredibly evil and uncalled for. But I was 14 and I felt like he was all I had. Asked me to write the lesson on the board and discuss it lightly with the class. I said, "No, teacher, you are getting paid to do this job, so you better do it or I'll do it and you give me your salary." The teacher gets silent and proceed to discuss the lesson. One of the nuns at school once slapped me for going down the stairs nosily. A few days later one friend and I entered her room and stole the bottle of anise that she kept in the dresser next to the bed. We also rubbed our asses. Stinky farted on the pillow of her bed. I lied to an imam. He strode in with his nervous teenage son and the laptop that showed a porn site every time you turned it on. He demanded to know how it got infected. I looked him straight in the eye and said, "You get that kind of infection from email." I send formal rejection letters to jobs I never applied to explaining why I don't want the job being offered. Spoiler: it's always because of low pay and on-site requirements. Sometimes I get a counteroffer and have to remind them I didn't apply. Flash my lights to oncoming traffic after passing a speed distance camera. I know it is kind of becoming a get off my lawn thing, but I love it when I see a few one-tap brights back at me, then see brake lights in my rearview. My best friend back in school once skipped out on English class, and when the teacher asked, I just went ahead and said it. He was a shite friend. I tossed the trash bag under my armor after swirling it 5 times instead of throwing it in the dumpster like the NBA talent scouters are watching. Relaced all of my mum's tennis shoes tighter so she had to fix them anytime she wanted to wear them. Never let her know it was me. All at work. Smoke weed, steal coffee. Clock 1 minute later every day, and I only poop there. Been doing this for 4 years. 19-year-old who isn't allowed to go outside. I snuck out and took a midnight walk yesterday, made me feel so cool. I once set all the clocks in my house 5 minutes faster. Trick time itself, take that. 4th dimension. I sprayed 7 on wall of police office. They still didn't remove it after 6 years. I smoke cannabis at the nursing home I live at. Smoking in general is prohibited. I click 0 bags at Target and leave with bags. FBI, please don't find me. I shoplifted some peach rings once. They were the best peach rings ever. Refused to stop for the Walmart employee checking receipts at the exit. I stole all the forks from Chipotle left so I didn't have to do any dishes. I told my Shakespeare professor I don't like Shakespeare, forging my mother's signature to leave school early.